What's up, guys? John Howe here from officialjohnhowe.com, and that's what this podcast is brought to you about, officialjohnhowe.com, and obviously that's me, John Howe. This podcast we're going to talk about the simple things that you may not know is a big defining factor in your overall success, but is a major defining factor, and how can we actually keep moving forward in a big way when we hit little issues or little blips in our life. And we'll talk about that in just a bit more in a minute, about blips and stuff like that. But let's actually talk about this, and let's try to think about this for a minute. When we're trying to achieve anything, there's a lot of things that's going to happen, especially when it comes to business, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances. There's a lot of things that's going to happen to us, right? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was talking to a friend today, and they were having a lot of issues, or she was really upset. And I was talking to her about a few things, and I thought, hang on a minute, this could actually help a lot of people. So let's actually talk about some things that you can do in your life that's going to help you become more successful overall. Number one, most times when we're trying to achieve financial abundance or financial level of success, trying to achieve a level of success in our business, our career, the very first thing that we need to do to make sure that we're getting pulled towards our goals is activating the visualization. Now, what I do every morning and every night is I read out a statement, or not every morning, every night, but most mornings and most nights. I'm gonna keep it real in this. All right, I'm gonna keep it real on this iPod, on this podcast, should I say? But I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do it every night, every morning, every night, but most mornings and most nights when I wake up and when I go to bed, I read out a simple paragraph that simply says, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have X, Y, Z in my life. I have this in my life. I have the house I want in my life. Blah, 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 blah. Makes sense? And I'll do that, and then I'll look at pictures. Pictures? Why look at pictures? Well, I learned from Bob Proctor and so many people, right? Write out the things that you want in life and you're likely to get it, right? But if you look at the books like Science of Getting Rich, The Think and Grow Rich, you know, The Secret, what do they also say? What do they all say? They all say, put a picture in your mind, a firm picture in your mind, and keep it there. And generally speaking, the whole thing is that the longer you can keep that image in your mind without it moving, the faster you're going to get that thing in your life. That's just generally what I've got from reading those books, and plus mentors who have studied this stuff. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to keep on visualizing and keep on bringing into our goals. Now, some people, I talk to some people in my coaching and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, well, I want to make a lot more money, and I want a nice house, and I want to lose some weight. It's like, it's like that there is just generalized, you know what I mean? And when you throw a generalized thing at the universe, you're going to get a generalized answer. You know what I mean? You've got to be specific in what you want. For me, I want to lose around about another 10 kilos or so. For me to get down to the body fat percentage. I've been bulking lately, and I want to start cutting soon. Okay, I like a proper cut. So for me, instead of me saying I want to lose some weight, what do I say? I say I want to lose 10 kilos. Right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I've lost 10 kilos, and I am ripped with six-pack abs, and I look absolutely phenomenal in my photo shoots. Can you see the differences from that to then saying, hey, I just want to lose some weight? You know what I mean? So the first thing we need to do is really visualize and be specific about what we're trying to achieve, which goes inside of goals as well too, right? If we don't know where you're going, then how do you know you're going? How do you know you're moving the right path if you don't know where you're going? You know what I mean? So that's the first thing we need to do. The next thing that's going to happen in our life is we're going to start to hit a lot of barriers. All right, a lot of barriers, a lot of issues, a lot of situations in our life. Now, reading Donald Trump's books, he says that, is this a blip or is this a catastrophe? So most times in our life, when we look at something, we tie a meaning to even the smallest things of it being a catastrophe in our life. Or we might not say it's a catastrophe, but what we actually do is we start to act like it's a catastrophe. We break down, we get really upset, and we just get really, really, okay? Because that meaning is like, this is so bad, right? So is it a blip or is it a catastrophe? And what goes inside of that is, what meaning are you tying with this? You see, when I had cancer back in 2009, 2010, late 2009, early 2010, when I had cancer, so many people's meaning towards cancer, if they had it, is that this is the end, I'm going to die, What else is what's life worth living for? You know what I mean? Like, and you know, this is the end of me. Especially when the doctor tells you got 6 months to live, like it did with me back in 2010. Makes sense? So if your meaning from that is like, this is the end, this is you know, I'm going to start going downhill, then what are your actions going to be? Are your actions going to be uplifting, motivating to keep moving forward in a big way, or are they going to be, you know, just, you know, are they going to be like down and out, not even trying to move ahead, not even trying to move forward? What do you think it'll be? Well, it's definitely not going to move forward, right? Because your meaning is like, what's this even trying anyway? I'm going to die in 6 months, so who cares? You know what I mean? I'm just going to sit here and wallow in my sorrows, right? But not me. No. What did I do? I said, you know what? No. This is the chance for me to start again. This is me to start again. And I think I said start again in 2010. I think that's what my phrase was in 2000. Start again in 2010. You know what I mean? So by looking at that and by going through that, it'll begin again in 2010. So my meaning for that, okay? My meaning was the fact that I wanted to. My meaning was that I wanted to. You know, or the meaning should be, you know, or what meaning are you actually putting aside with this whole thing? Is your meaning that you're having with this, is it you know, is it the end or is it the beginning? Makes sense? So anyway, so we've gone through the visualization, we've gone through, is this a blip, is this a catastrophe? We've gone through what meaning are we aligning with this. Now let's look at some other things that may not seem like it's a big thing, but it's a massive thing in your overall success. Most people get depression, most people get down, most people get, you know, really down and sad and stressed because they continue to allow the stresses in their life to build up. I'm not saying just ignore stress and ignore things in our life. I'm not saying that, no. What I am saying is that when we have stresses in our life, we need to release it so it doesn't build up and suddenly we have a big massive breakdown. And how the best way to do that and to feel good about yourself is to work your ass off in the gym. There's no other way around it, right? And I guarantee you, I absolutely believe this, that if people trained their absolute asses off, like to the extent to where they're going to throw up. If you've seen some of my podcasts on my fitness channel, then you know I've been there before, right? Just as early as last week. You know what I mean? So the thing is that every single day, go to the gym, even though you're tired. Yesterday, for me, example, I had a lot of coaching calls. I had places to look at. I had a lot of things going on, and I was going flat chat the whole day from 9 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock last night. And I was so tired, but what did I do? Is I knew I had a lot of stress that day as well too, because a lot of coaching clients, a lot of things that I was stressed about. So instead of me allowing it to build up, what I do is I went to the gym, I gave out just a really good hour session, and then I went home and I slept really well last night because of the gym. But then what also happened was I released the stress. Makes sense? So if you're trying to achieve any level of success, then what we need to do is we need to not be stressing about things. We need to not be stressing about things, but thinking clearly. And how can we be thinking clearly if we're allowing the stresses to build up inside our life? Makes sense? So what we need to do is we need to be releasing our stress, releasing everything that we're having when it comes to that, the pressure, all that sort of stuff, and doing it in a way that's actually benefiting our health overall, which is giving us more energy, which is making us feel more confident, which is releasing all the stresses that we have on a daily basis. And if you don't do that, guess what happens? It builds up, it gets into depression, you get sad, you feel overwhelmed, and nothing happens, right? Nothing happens, and something just explodes. It's like, oh, I'm sick of this, or I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now. Does that make sense so far? So anyway, so we're going through all of that right now, and the biggest thing that I do say is that gratitude, or where your focus goes, energy flows, and things grow. And this goes back inside of the number one thing, which is basically, visualization and goal setting. But you know what, guys? The bottom line is that if you're not grateful for the things you have, then how the heck are you supposed to start to be, noticing those things in your life? Most people talk about all the things they don't have in their life, so all they talk about and think about is the things they don't have in their life. So they're always negative in their life, you know what I mean? How to become a lot more positive, and how to become a lot more uplifting, and how to become a lot more energized and happy about life, is start to be grateful for the things you have in life. And then one of the best ways to actually do that is to put contrast of what you're going through. And I gave the contrast to my friend today. I said to her, listen, in early 2010, the doctor said I had 6 months to live. What situation would you rather be in? The situation you're in right now, or be in a situation where the doctor said you've got 6 months to live, and she obviously said that one. I said, cool. What else? Okay, then what about if we went to Africa and there's kids that are living in the villages and stuff like that, like on $2 a day? What situation would I be? Would you rather be in this situation where it's feeling overwhelming, or be in that situation? And obviously that. And straight away I started noticing the way that she was talking and stuff like that. I noticed everything started changing about her. Make sense? So when everything started changing about her and everything started to change what she did, she started to laugh and she started to open up a lot more. And things started to run smoothly. When things started to open smoothly, so put in the contrast. Like your problems are someone's best dreams out there. Makes sense? So always put that in the contrast. Anyway, so there are some things that you can do. There are some things that you can focus on while trying to move forward in a big way when it comes to trying to attract and trying to be the better person. And the bottom line is this: don't ever try to compare yourself to someone else. Always say, what did I do today? What did I do yesterday? And what can I do tomorrow to make sure that I'm better than today and yesterday? Make sense? And that's all you can do. Don't try and go out there and make this a big competition. Say, I'm going to be better than you, and you're going to be better than me, and right and wrong, and all that sort of stuff. Because, right and wrong, there is no right and wrong. And you're probably saying, what do you mean, John? Well, the thing is this, all right? Let's just say, for example, me. I've been trading the markets now for 10 years, right? My right is completely different than someone else's right that's just starting out, just trading. Makes sense? Because my right is, I'm on a different journey. And someone that's been trading for 30 years, their right is different to my right. Makes sense? So we're all right and we're all wrong, no matter what we want. Whether you say you can or say you can't, you're generally right. Makes sense? So try not to have that whole competition with someone else, like, I'm better than you and you're right, I'm wrong, and getting worked up about other people. Because the bottom line is, especially if you're a coach like me, not everyone wants to change, and not everyone, you can't actually help everyone. Anyway, guys, these are the little things, and these are some things in your life that you can start to do that you can really start to help you moving forward in a big way. I hope you really enjoyed this. If you really did enjoy this, leave a comment below, like this video, share it out. And the bottom line is, guys, is that these things will help you out overall. A lot of these things have nothing to do with your success, but have everything to do with how with success in your life. Okay, guys, this is John Howell here from officialjohnhowell.com. And remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.